So here we are right in front of the North Pipe, or the 43rd Street Pipe. You can see all the trash accumulation. We just cleaned this area, I don't know, half a dozen times or more this year already, or even more than that. But you can see there's a lot that just accumulated from the last rain. And you know, this pipe empties 920 acres of South Minneapolis streets directly into the lake. And it's a real problem. We need stormwater treatment from that pipe there. Thank you. So this is what I've accumulated already, and just picking up what I can. We've been doing this for 7 years. Each bag has to weigh 20 pounds before it gets counted. We are at 448. This will be 449, which will bring us to 8,980 pounds of trash that we removed from this little Lake Hiawatha. And majority of this trash comes out of that pipe right there, which is the 43rd Street pipe shed. It doesn't have any filtration. Empties the streets from Lake Street, Chicago Avenue, 38th Street, 35th, 42nd, etc. Good portion of South Minneapolis dumps into here without filtration. We've been asking for stormwater treatment for 7 years, and we haven't seen any movement or progress, no change yet. And in fact, conditions have probably worsened since we started cleaning. You can see that if you go out in the water, trash is also submerged and is not easy to get at, and can only go so far. Microplastics are a real problem because this trash situation has been ignored for many decades. And what happens with plastic is it sits in the sun and bakes and gets tossed around in the water is that it starts to break down, and then it becomes microplastics. And therefore now it's part of the food web and part of the soil and part of the water. And we're just beginning to understand the impact of microplastics. Additional note is that this pipe empties to Minnehaha Creek, which empties down into the Mississippi River, which then continues on to the Gulf of Mexico. So we're not only impacting our community here, but communities downstream, both ecological communities and communities who get their drinking water from the Mississippi River. So it's a real problem. Thank you. So as to why we do this work, the other thing about Lake Hiawatha, besides having a lot of trash, is that it's also really a biodiverse place. We've observed, well, in our biodiversity survey, we have noted 252 species of animals that call Lake Hiawatha home, or that rely on Lake Hiawatha. It's also a key stop for migratory birds along the Mississippi River Flyway. One of the things about Lake Hiawatha is that it has open water throughout the winter that is utilized by a lot of waterfowl and other birds and animals. And it's so I think it's a pretty special place, and it's worth preserving. And a lot of people feel the same way. We have hundreds of people that are helping us, that come out, clean up, and we've been doing planting and restoration work, bringing back native species. Lots of cigarette butts. So like I said, we've cleaned this area already dozens of times this year, and probably, I don't know, been here 100 times cleaning this spot. Every time it rains, gotta come back. And we would just let it be, but we don't think that's fair to the wildlife or the people who are still swimming here, people who are catching and eating fish because they're hungry. And for everyone downstream who has to deal with our pollution. So we are well over 20 pounds, but I want to finish up this area. So, but we always call it 20 pounds per bag, so that we have an average, and that way we can quantify how much we've taken out over time. So we're approaching 9,000 pounds now. So it's easy to pick up trash. You can do it with a grabber like this. You can get it at any hardware store, and just come on down to the lake and start picking up. Something kind of soothing about it. If you're like me and you have a little bit of OCD, satisfies that part, you know, like, and you get a little feeling of accomplishment because the lake is cleaner than it was before. Even knowing that with the next rain it'll all be back, I believe that all positive effort is valuable, and I think it's going to yield results for us eventually. We're persistent. So this is not an unusual quantity of trash. This is just kind of the status quo for what happens here. We could be doing this for all year long and still not get it all. And then of course it rains and we start over again. But see, that area I just covered looks pretty good now. Oop, missed the tennis ball. you start to get an eye for the trash where you can pick it out, and a lot of times it looks pretty close to natural materials, but start to see this differences and get an eye for it, and you get better skills with this picker and grab. So, thank you. So Lake Hiawatha is like a microcosm of a global conundrum, I consider it to be, and you know, one of the signs of the times right now in this time is all the masks we find. Just, I don't know, I've probably already pulled out about 8 of them just this morning in a couple hours, and so just everyone should understand that our streets drain directly to water, so all that trash you see on the street, every cigarette butt, sock, plastic shard, Gatorade bottle, liquor bottle, car wreckage, styrofoam plate, water bottle, Starbucks cup, Speedway drinking cup, Powerade, I don't know what that is. Mysterious items, all of it will wash directly into the water. Doesn't go away, doesn't get cleaned up by anybody except me and my friends. And there's no treatment system that's going to filter it out. It just goes in the lake. Everyone should understand that basic infrastructure, understanding. So one time, 2019 Earth Day, you see here, Pepsi. We had 104 people came out, and we cleaned around the whole lake, and then we took all the trash and we brought it over to MCAD, and we sorted it all out, and we recorded every single item, what the material was, what the brand name was, and what the parent corporation of each one. So that way we were able to determine which were the top 4 corporations represented in the trash at Lake Hiawatha. And that year, PepsiCo was the most common trash item, followed by Coca-Cola, then followed by McDonald's, then followed by Mars Corporation, and you know, other top ones were like Nestle, Hershey's, Swisher Company, Swisher International makes the Swisher Sweets. So, and they don't have any responsibility to do anything, and they're really not doing much. So, and we asked them when we made that discovery of those top corporations, we asked them if they would help us pay for the stormwater treatment here. They declined. They said no, all of them, unanimously. So, I don't know, maybe we should stop buying their stuff. So the bag's getting pretty full now, nearing the end of our little section that we decided to work on today. So there's a lot of items in here. So amongst the data that we collected, wrappers are the most common item, we also were able to find the average of items per each bag. Like I said, it weighs 20 pounds and it contains an average of 1,267 items. So us being at bag number 449 now since we started. If you calculate 449 times 1,267, that brings us to well over 500,000 pieces that we've removed by hand from Lake Hiawatha. So since 2015 when we started picking up, we had an exhibition displayed, and we've been reaching out. We've been asking for stormwater treatment since that time. Then what happened was golf course flooded. Park board decides they're going to revisit their sort of master plan and layout of the golf course, and since this pipe runs across the fairway of the golf course, we thought, hey, wouldn't now be a great time to implement some comprehensive stormwater treatment for this pipe? And so we worked very closely with the park board and the community, and we're part of the whole community advisory committee and all the public engagement events that were around this, and helping to gather community input. We formed our Friends of Lake Hiawatha group, and as you can see, nothing has changed now 7 years later, and that master plan that was going to include the stormwater treatment, after all the work, it turns out it's not going to be. It was voted down by the park commissioners, so they rejected that plan. So what that means for Lake Hiawatha is that nothing changes. There was no plan for anybody to do anything. Nobody's coming down to pick it up. Nobody's screening it. No stormwater treatment. All that sediment's going to keep coming. The phosphorus, 570 pounds from that one pipe. So we were disappointed because we thought we could, had light at the end of the tunnel. There's a mask that would, finally, so we could stop picking up trash and enjoy a clean lake, and the community enjoy a clean lake, but it was not to be. So one of the things we're thinking is, Park Board has shown that it's not capable of addressing ecological problems. We've been presenting them with striking evidence for that past 7 years, and we have not seen any progress. So, what's missing here is oversight, and Pollution Control Agency is supposed to protect our water and address pollution issues. So we're hoping that the MPCA will help us out. So last leg of the cleanup for the day. As you can see, the bag's quite full. And I'm estimating we got about 50 pounds here, but we're going to call it 20 and add that to the count. So this will be bag number 849, and the next bag will put us at 9,000 pounds of, as you can see here, almost entirely plastic and styrofoam. We can also think about the fact that this is all petroleum-based stuff, and what's the creation of that doing to our environment, along with the plastic and its accumulation in our ecosystem and the food web. So the very end here at the pipe. This is where I'm going to stop, get these last bits. Then what I'll do is take a photograph of the bag with the lake as a backdrop, and I'll actually put it on my Facebook cover photo. And if you go to my Facebook page and you look through the cover photos, you'll see every bag of trash that we've collected documented there. So, alright, that's pretty good for now. And so, bundle this up. Place it here. Line it up just so. And snap a photo. So this pipe was installed in 1935. It has, how you can see that it hasn't been changed since it was installed. And you know how much plastic were we using in 1935? Not anywhere near the quantities that we are now. But it feels good that we cleaned up this 100 feet of shore. Cleaned, ended up in that bag, shoot, 50 pounds of trash. Alright. Thanks for joining me. And, you know, spread the word. Help clean up. Keep the streets clean. All that good stuff. Bye-bye.